Hello, I hope everyone is having a great day. I have been wanting to share about something for a while and haven't really felt the correct way to share it or yeah, it feels really big. It feels like there's a lot under this kind of bigger umbrella. And I wasn't really sure if that looked like a series of videos or one long video. And so I've held back from bringing this communication forward. And I think I've decided to go ahead and just see what happens. It'll likely become a series. And what I'm thinking is, so I'll just put this out there. The word that I would describe this topic is fear. And so I feel like October, the month of Halloween, is a really cool time to start talking about that. And so maybe I'll make this a weekly series for the month of October. And what made me think to do that, I'll just share, was that my daughter has been really, really curious about Halloween this year. And it's so cool to watch because just her observation skills have expanded. And so she's like wanting to interact with all of the Halloween decorations in our neighborhood. And I can really see her like building herself up. Like, yes, the skeletons in our neighbor's yard are quite scary. And she says like, oh, too scared, too scared. But then she approaches them and she wants to touch them and interact with them and ask them if they're okay. And I love that because I can really see that she's working with that fear. She's noticing it inside of herself and she's working with it. And the other reason why I feel like this is a meaningful time to bring up this topic is because we are still in Mercury retrograde. And for those who aren't familiar with this, or who find that it's maybe something scary, I just want to assure you that it does not have to be scary. Mercury retrograde is a time for review. And so it's a great time to review what we are fearful of and how we're working with our fears. And yeah, so we'll just dive right in. I have noticed a lot of clients bringing things to me that they're maybe labeling in a slightly different way, but the common theme and the common pattern is fear. And I'm noticing this not only in my clients, but also, in myself and my family members, neighbors, people who I'm talking and interacting with, that this is a common thing that we're all really experiencing right now together. And if you're, I was going to say an adult, but if you're a human, because kids are picking up on it as well, if you're a human living in 2021, then I don't have to tell you why it's a scary time to be living. And it's all justified. Like, there is real things, real turbulence happening in our world right now. And it's important to acknowledge that and recognize that it's okay to feel a little bit anxious, a little bit unsettled amidst some of that turbulence. But what I'm noticing is where it's becoming a problem is that we're allowing that fear to stay right here. We're holding it inside of ourselves. We're holding it inside of our chests, and we're applying it to situations that are not scary, right? So we're applying it to really everything, because what's happened is that fear is actually a very natural response, and it's very important for our bodies to be able to experience the emotion of fear. Evolutionarily speaking, experiencing that fear mechanism is what kicks us into, okay, fight or flight. It's what kicks us into action. And so there's absolutely nothing wrong with feeling fear when there is a danger. But what happens is when we get stuck in that chronic state where we're constantly feeling like we're on guard, like we have to keep looking behind us. We have to keep recognizing that that there's another fear around every corner. There's something else to be feared around every corner. And that's likely not true. And even if it is true, it's not serving your body to stay in that state of overdrive, right? Because our bodies are designed to have both. We need stress, and we also need to be able to come down and to rest and restore. And we need that sort of balance. And that reminds me, that's another reason why this is such a appropriate time to evaluate this within ourselves. If you study astrology, then you know that it's Libra season, and Libra season is all about that balance. There's nothing that's good or bad. It's recognizing the yin and yang in the world. And there is value in stress, right? Stress is good for us. It helps us to grow. It helps us to become more resilient. It helps us to begin to trust ourselves, to be able to handle challenges. The more things that we are able to work through, the more that we grow as human beings. So stress is good. It pushes us. But when we get stuck in a stressed state, when we get stuck in a fearful or anxious state, we don't give our bodies the chance to rest, the chance for restoration, for regeneration. If you know anything about the science of exercise, then you know that it's actually when we rest, when we sleep, that our muscles repair themselves and therefore grow stronger. When we sleep, when we get deep quality sleep and deep quality rest, is when we're able to grow bigger muscles, break down fat, a ton of bodily processes. We need that time for rest. But if you're living in a state of fear, your body can't access that level of rest. So, like I said, I'm going to present this in a series. I'm going to be sharing a few additional videos in the weeks to come that will provide some tools for working with stress. But what I would like to leave you with for today is sort of a cliffhanger, but I think that it's necessary, and that is to just acknowledge that this is happening to you. And acknowledge that you can let your guard down. Acknowledge that you are likely safe. If you're watching this video, then you're likely safe. Yes, there is a ton of information out in the world right now around the pandemic, around social injustices. Yesterday we had, it was so ironic to see the world kind of not knowing what to do, and kind of fumbling with a loss of connection by Facebook and their associated applications going down. And that's a way that we find connection. That's a way that we find distraction. It's a way that we find information. It has its both good and bad. But I would encourage you to consider if the information that you're receiving is serving you, or is it creating a consistent cycle, a consistent state of stress and fear? And take a moment to acknowledge what is actually going on in your life, in your present moment. Using time to reflect, taking time for introspection, can clarify areas that need softening. So that is the first piece that I would encourage you to do, is to create more awareness around this in your own life. See how fear is showing up for you. and take into account how it's showing up in your health. How is it affecting your eating habits, right? Because sometimes we eat our emotions. That's a topic for a whole other video. But how is it affecting your eating habits? How is it affecting your sleeping habits? How is it affecting your peace, the quality of your communication with your family? How would you rate your level of stress? And how much of it is your stress to be carrying? So I will leave you with that today. Please let me know if this was insightful for you. If you have ideas, I would love to hear what comes up as far as ideas for working with fear. I have a few that I'm looking forward to sharing through this video series, but I would love to hear what has been supportive for you, or what questions you might have, things that you've heard of or considered and have created more question for you. I would love to try to help you find clarity. Thank you.